Alright, for this time traveling expedition on my covering the Nancy Drew games, since I've covered the 12 that I currently have copies of as of Friday, 23 May 2025. I had a bunch more and I got rid of some, but I still have 12 as of currently. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. This one I'm covering is Nancy Drew number 2. Stay tuned for Danger. And this is as far back as I went in game playing. I did not play Nancy Drew number 1. That one came out in 1998. I did go back to this one, however, and it's Nancy Drew, Stay Tuned for Danger. So instead of holding up the game, I'm showing the game page on the company that makes these games, Her Interactive. This is what they have. They have YouTube videos for a lot of this stuff, actually. And so they have, as the official trailer for the game, their YouTube video on their YouTube channel. They have a YouTube channel. Nancy Drew is a featured channel on this channel, Tanis Leonhardi, at least currently. So they have that thumbnails displayed, and then if you scroll on it, it tells a little bit about the game. And this is one I played in the 2000s decade. It was part of my Sacred Saturdays. It was not a staple, however, and it was initially released back in 1999, and it was a different one. The cartoon, the animation, there we go. The animation of the game was different than some of the Turn of the Millennium games that came after it. And I remember playing it, and I was playing it, and I was raised, so my dad raised me with if we were watching movies, or if we had questions about like how something worked and we wanted an answer, my entire childhood, it was, you'll have to watch to the end. So if you've heard of me and my watching videos all the way through, it was largely my upbringing, and choosing to stick with that even after I moved on. And moved out in 2010 and stuff like that. And staying, I was not provided answers. I had to figure out the solution myself. Or just watch all the way through. And so I was, what I learned was that there were sometimes things were just lacking in structural support enough that I couldn't quite, I was like, it was everything in my life. And so I didn't finish this game, but it was a bit different. So the game is Nancy Drew goes, this person's getting threatening letters on the set of this television drama, a soap opera. She goes to investigate. And there was, especially compared to more recent games, relatively little guidance within the game, if I'm recalling correctly. And I was like, you know, I was young. I was born approximately 1993, right? And so I was going like, I get this in my life. Like, there's just little enough guidance, even from the characters within the game itself, that like I was like struggling a bit because I was not. I kind of lived my life it's a Nancy Drew mystery game, no answers provided. So there was a little bit of it where it was like, huh. Now an interesting one going back to this now in 2025 is my dad isn't quite like that anymore. He I'll be talking about a book or a movie or something, and he'll jump to he wants the ending and stuff, and I was like, that's not, I haven't said it to him, but I'm like, that's not what you were like when I was growing up. Like, you made us watch things all the way through, and if we didn't, he did not give us the answer. So that's a little bit about my YouTubing and my Nancy Drewing. Is like, Nancy Drew, I think in part was just kind of like, it's kind of like how I live my life in some ways. So there we go. So that's a little bit about Nancy Drew, Stay Tuned for Danger, 1999 game. Computer game that I played in the 2000s decade as part of my Sacred Saturdays, and it fell into a different category. I did not finish because of I was not captivated by the plot. That was maybe a way of describing it. So, thank you for joining me.